These are the two deputies from last night's deadly traffic stop. Deputy Brandon Sykes was killed while Deputy Gavin White was injured when alleged suspect James Blake Montgomery shot them during an altercation. Behind me, you can see where Columbia County deputies surrounded the RV as they tried to get inside. I-20 was shut down for hours going into the early morning as deputies worked to get to the suspect. Today, the Columbia County Sheriff's Office gave more details about what happened last night. Your Sydney Hood was there, and Sydney, walk us through what you've learned.
Well, Hallie, I want you to take a look over here on I-20. We're standing on the Bel Air Road overpass, and as you can see, a very different scene compared to what we saw out here 24 hours ago. This started as a traffic stop, and it ended with one deputy dead and another in the hospital. Columbia County Sheriff Clay Whittle says deputies conducted a traffic stop on a motorhome driven by James Blake Montgomery between mile markers 193 and 194, just west of the Bel Air Road exit. Sheriff Whittle says as deputies spoke to Montgomery, he was cooperative. Deputies informed Montgomery they had a protective order for domestic violence between him and his wife.
As two of the deputies turned to walk away from the motorhome to go back to their patrol vehicle, Mr. Montgomery produced a 9mm AR pistol that he had converted into a fully automatic weapon. And he fired on 3 deputies from the sheriff's office, striking 2 of them.
In addition to the Columbia County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Whittle listed about 10 other agencies assisting them last night. While we were on scene out here, we noticed drones in the sky and deputies using robots. And then around midnight, we noticed flashlights inside the motorhome.
Once we determined that Mr. Montgomery was deceased inside the motorhome, we could see items in the motorhome by way of the drones and the robot that resembled bomb material. And it was in fact that. Mr. Montgomery had pipe bombs and other paraphernalia in the motorhome, one of which was rigged with a remote switch inside the motorhome.
Sheriff Whittle says the Richmond County and SLED bomb squads had to carefully breach the motorhome, to which he says they found several more handguns, numerous magazines, and numerous boxes of additional ammo. So a lot of new information we got today, and a lot of information that helped us piece together what we were watching out here just 24 hours ago. And like I mentioned earlier, Hallie, a completely different scene out here, a somber one, in fact. As I was coming in just before I got off on the Bel Air Road exit on I-20, I noticed a memorial growing just near mile marker 194. I noticed some flowers people were placing in the guardrails on the westbound side of I-20.
Just a sad situation all around. Thank you, Sydney. Our heart continues to get heavier as we learn more details, and we're so grateful for the men and women who put their lives on the line daily to keep us safe. Thanks, Sydney. And once again, here's a look at those deputies. Brandon Sykes, he's been with the Columbia County Sheriff's Office since 2018, serving on the crime suppression team. His wife also works at the Sheriff's Office. His autopsy will be Monday. The second deputy, Gavin White, was injured during the shooting, and Sheriff Whittle says he has a long road to recovery ahead of him, but he's very upbeat and strong. Whittle says as the suspect was firing at the officers, Deputy Andrew Brown was able to drag White's body to a patrol car while during the shooting and rush him to the hospital, likely saving his life. White is recovering at Wellstar after having surgery this morning.
Trailhand Bill, reporting live from South Florida. It is a very beautiful, hot and sunny Saturday afternoon, I'm sorry. I'm already kind of aggrieved that I'm not going to remember to say all the things I want to say in this video. We're back in my home state, Georgia, Columbia. I think this happened like April 27th, April 17th. I can't remember, a few weeks ago. Another video I had in the file. If you go to Facebook, which if I remember, I've already saved the link. I'm gonna put one link up there, and if you just go there and Google his name, search his name, you're gonna find out some interesting thing about this story. Namely, I mean, this isn't very interesting. It happens all the time, but to me, like, this is my first time actually seeing it, not in the media, seeing it from their vantage point. You're gonna see his family and friends, the alleged suspect, speaking about him in this situation. So, and then you're gonna see the cop lovers mad that his family is hurt and supporting him because he's gone. Now, the way they say, the cops say he's no longer a threat, and the way they tell this story, I'm guessing that their story is that he took his own life in that mobile home trailer driven, whatever the hell it was, bro. I don't know. Now, let me say this, bro. At first I'm thinking, y'all want me to believe that y'all just went up to this guy on the traffic stop and told him he had a protective order from his wife, and then when y'all were walking away, he just started shooting at y'all? I'm gonna be real with you, man. If you're a lady, I respect y'all, the respectable ones. You might not want to hear this, because just the way I tell American story over here, I try to be a voice for non-Johnny 11 Americans. I always say I got other platforms, and I try to be a voice for men. And y'all know I try to be objective. I don't spin things just to paint a certain narrative. Now, like I say, at first I'm thinking, boy, ain't no way in hell. But then when they say they found all the stuff in the car, I'm thinking, hold up, bro. Let's keep it real. If I told y'all a drive-by was done in an urban neighborhood and several people were killed, and they arrested some black guys for it and said, witnesses said that those were the black guys that did, y'all might not believe it, but you're going to be like, nah, that is some black people do. Now, it's not only black people that do that, but I'm black. We be doing that type shit, unfortunately. They said they found the circumstances, the air quotes evidence. Before I forget to say, shout out to Shorty for saying he was an alleged suspect in the beginning, but then she ruined all that saying we appreciate the men and women who put, man, fuck them, man. Fuck the police, man. You ruined the alleged part, which you should call him, because that's what we know at this point, by saying shout out to the men and women who, man, fuck the police. Back to this. When they start describing what they found, that sound like some white guy shit, fam. I'm just gonna be honest with you. That sounded like some shit a white dude was planning and about to do. Now, let me get into this, man. There's a lot of talk in certain circles, man, about women when they have babies and when they're pregnant. They go through this thing called postpartum depression. I'm not going to get into that, but it's a clinical term. It blends over into the legal atmosphere where they get postpartum depression and then they end up murdering people, their children included, and they get off for it. And they get sympathy from the public for it because they say, hey, they were going through these psychological changes because they had a baby in their body, et cetera, et cetera. It's beyond their control. What pisses me off is we don't see men in that light. We don't think that there are things that happen to men spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, that take them to places that are beyond their control. So then when men commit horrific acts, they're just monsters. Now, I'm going to go back to what we were told in this story. There was a protective order. We getting all this from the Johnnies. Even the part about what they found in the car. Even though I say it sounds like some shit white dudes do, I don't necessarily just believe it, but I try to be objective. I don't. My heart tells me they're not making that up. So then he shot him when they were walking away. They came to tell him he had a protective order. You know how many stories I cover on my other platform of bullshit ass women lying on men, robbing them of their life's work, robbing them of their financial accounts, robbing them of their children, their opportunities to be a father, robbing them of their families, just for whatever reason the bullshit ass woman didn't want it anymore. And she knew that she could use her gender and her girl tears to manipulate the eyes of the public, because just like when cops say some shit, that means the person that they're saying it about is guilty of what they're accusing. It's the same thing for women. And just like back the bluers don't want to tell the truth about how bullshit cops are, there's a group of Americans that don't want to tell the truth about how bullshit some women are. Why are you saying this, Trailhand Bill? I don't know what the hell happened here. But I've covered too many stories on my platform where I give a voice for men, where men are put into these impossible circumstances, where the court's against them, the American public is against them, even though there's no evidence besides a bullshit ass woman's accusation for anybody to be against them, and they lose it all. You consider what women go through when they're going through postpartum depression and alleged abuse and shit. Could you even imagine what it feels like for a man to lose every damn thing, including his kids? Because for some reason, I've mentioned this in my videos. Some people be like, oh, you only get one mother, like a father is a second-hand part of the damn family. No, some fathers value their families. Some fathers value their children. Some fathers feel like their very lives have been taken away from them when their families and their children are stolen from them, legally kidnapped. The same way a cop walk up on somebody and illegally search them and then take them to jail for some bullshit and we get outraged, it happens to men in regard to dealing with women sometimes, and that shit make a man go crazy. I've covered too many damn stories. So I'm just wondering what would make this gentleman open fire on cops according to their story that were walking away. What would make this gentleman have bomb material that he could detonate and do whatever the hell he was planning to do or allegedly planning to do with it? And it could be that his ass just a crazy white guy, because there's some of them out there, just like it's crazy men and women and children from every damn race. It could also be because he knew that he was about to experience something that he had no control over, that he was not guilty of, and he was just at a place where he couldn't deal with that shit no more. Shorty say our hearts go out or we appreciate the, no, man, fuck the police, bro. And if you watch me, you know I'm not a fan of senseless violence. Some people gonna be in the comments like they're glad the cops are dead. You got a right to feel how you feel. I'm never glad anybody lost their life or were hurt or injured or brutalized by senseless violence. I'm not. Self-defense is one thing. Senseless violence is a totally different realm that I don't operate in. But everybody got a right to feel how they feel. I'm just saying, like, it burdens me and it burns my damn soul up that we pick and choose when we're gonna have sympathy. We have this selective sympathy. Cops can do something, we're outraged about it. Another group of people do the same damn thing and we're defending them, and vice versa and carry on and carry on. There needs to be some more stability here. Man, the police, not their lives, them. There was just a story on Twitter about a Miami cop. They had this big hoorah. I don't even think the cop like was killed or nothing. He just died. I don't know. But they had this big hoorah, the motorcades, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm thinking, damn, y'all just do it. Who okayed y'all doing that with our damn money? We never get that. Whether y'all murder us senselessly and the cops go to jail or not, we never get that as Americans. But we got to pay for y'all to do that. Who okayed that shit? I'm just a person for moral consistency. So it's very hard for me to grieve for these bullshit cops when I know media, cops, back the blues, and even some Americans who just consider themselves neutral don't even consider or think about us in these situations. And then in the same token, you will hear me express the same sentiments on my channel where I speak for men. It'd be very hard for me to grieve when women go through shit, when I know they put men through shit and society don't give one mother F-U-C-K. I'm not trying to cover for this guy what they're alleging he did if it went down like these cops say it did. And we know we can't believe them. But let's just, for the sake of the argument, say it did. I'm not trying to cover for him. I'm just trying to get us to think about what everybody goes through and what drives everybody to a certain point and stop being selective with our compassion and sympathy. That's what I got for this story. Georgia, it sounds like the rabbit got the gun here. It sounds like this gentleman who's dead, family is about to have to go through what y'all put Americans through on damn near daily basis. Rest in peace, Ryan Hinton. Free Rodney Hinton. It sounds like the cop who the Johnny leader said got a long way to recovery, motherfucker. It's a lot of Americans that y'all cowards put in that situation, and I'll never see y'all get on no damn podiums and say that kind of stuff, express that kind of sympathy for them. So in this regard, my sympathy goes to us and the justice we don't get. I hope them cops' family be all right. But at least they're going to get justice to go with their grief. And anybody who has selective sympathy, maybe this video is for your ass, because we are all humans. And there's no special interest group that deserves more compassion and sympathy when they're navigating life than any other. That bullshit don't exist. Only in the mind of bigoted ass cowards. We really care about humans over here. That's why I make these videos. I'm Trailhand Bill, and I'm still upset about some of the stuff I wanted to say that I forgot. God has blessed us with this beautiful Saturday, and whenever you see this video, He's blessed you with this moment. Enjoy it. Know your rights. Teach your children to know their rights. And always remember who these cowards are, because there's a whole segment of America that's going to try to brainwash you into seeing them as something they're not. Y'all be good. Thank you if you made it this far. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. If you care to go a little further than that, maybe even subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out a few of the other videos on the channel. Either way, y'all be safe.